Awesome stuff. Let me just pop out the chat. Have I got my mute on? No. Let's do that. All right. Welcome, guys. We've got some people here already. We've got Mitch. Welcome. Cheddar. Hey, man. How you going? Little Crow. Yep. I broke it out. It's been modified, so I thought I'd see how it sounds. We've got Quinton. Welcome, man. Lincoln. Brian. Also, guys, I did a really cool live stream with Dr. Rick on Cheddar's channel, so check it out. It was a lot of fun. All right, welcome everybody. Let me know where you're from. Sonia, welcome. I'm just going to pause my stream. Hopefully the audio is all good. Let us know if there's any issues with volume or anything. It should be okay. I'm hoping. All right, morning from Pete. Welcome, Kirk. All right, Derek, first time on the live stream. Awesome stuff, welcome. What's up from Mark? Cool. Sounds pretty good. So the sound you're listening to is the Mesa Boogie Studio 22 with the drive and volume at half. And that's I use the Kemper Profiler to get that profile. To profile the amplifier, I should say. And yeah, it's a great little amp. My friend Carl had lent it to me for a week, and it's just a mighty tone. Woo. All right, Steve, welcome. We've got Jeff from Colorado. Or Colorado. I used to have a shirt that said that. I might still have it, actually. They put the rad in there. I've got David, welcome. I don't speak much Spanish, I apologize. I know how to say hello. And como está usted? We've got Suave, is that how you pronounce that? All right, cool. So yeah, this has been, here we go. Loving the Amoon stereo looper. Awesome stuff. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Little Crow sounds awesome. This is great. It always sounded good. It had this, like, I don't know if you remember, it had this, like, 4-position rotator switch. So to get from neck to bridge, you used to have to go, like, clunk, 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 and it was really quite tight. It was my only complaint playing live was, like, to get from bridge to neck or vice versa was kind of like this process. And if you were in the heat of the moment and you really wanted to just go like, you couldn't do that. So it's been modified now, so you get, but it's just 3-way toggle switch and a push-pull pot. But the interesting thing they've done is this middle position. Have a listen to this. It's got that Peter Green kind of. So it's not really like both pickups as it would be, say, on a Gibson. It already sounds different. Then you pull this up and it gets even weirder. I'm testing this out just to see if that's a sound I'm going to use live at all. So I'll know tomorrow night when I get it out and have a play. All right, Terry, welcome. Stuart, g'day. All right, we've got plenty of people here already, which is awesome. Thanks for joining in. If anyone has any questions today, feel free to let me know. I'm just going to hang out for probably 45 minutes or an hour or something. Thought it might be fun to just do an impromptu live stream here, do some playing. Do I ever still use the Fender Mustang 3? No, I got rid of it quite a while ago now. I just found like the PV Bandit was kind of like my go-to for a while, so I ended up getting rid of it. I don't have a whole lot of room at my place either, so having lots of amps around isn't really that good. I've got like 5 friends that have Fender Mustang version 3s anyway if I ever need to get my hands on one again. So after everyone started buying them, I flipped it. And then I went back to the Bandit, then everyone in my friend's circle started to get Bandits, except for Rick. I'm working on that. All right, we've got Braveheart from Scotland. Awesome. Glasgow. I used to work with a guy from there. So this neck pickup with the push-pull out. So you're getting that sort of quacky sound. Bridge. I think it's just one sound. It is. Okay, so yeah. And back in. I don't know how much I like that sound, to be honest with you, but, you know, it might come in handy playing live. I can kind of picture it as a sort of... It almost sounds like at least with some drive anyway, it sounds kind of like a cocked wah pedal, which is interesting. What should I pick? A lefty SE like yours or a Reverend? Reverend make good guitars too, man. Just depends on what you like visually and how they feel as well. If you don't get a chance to play either, you know, I'd hate to recommend one that you don't like. I've played 3 or 4 Reverend lefties that I really liked. So it just depends on the pickup combination you're looking for. All I can tell you is my PRSSE is one of my best playing guitars. It's really great. I think it does everything fairly right. You know, the only criticism I have of it is I think the split coil mode isn't the best. That gets a little too thin for me, but I never use it anyway. I just stick on the humbucker mode. They're plenty bright. So yeah, it just depends if you're, you know, if the, you know, Reverends have all different types of configurations. So it just depends on which one you're looking at and what you like the sound of, you know. But play them both. I always suggest that. I'm looking for a USB sound card. Any suggestions? Well, I tell you what, I got 2 of these UR22 MK2s from Steinberg. I bought one just because I couldn't find one of those Focusrite ones at the time. And I liked it so much, I've now got 2 of them. I've got one on my other computer where I shoot, well, I do all my editing and all that kind of stuff as well, and my voiceover stuff. So this one stays in here for when I do my videos. And that's what you hear now, and that's what you hear on all my videos as well. The Steinberg UR22 MK2, I reckon it's a really great sound card. What was the name of the German guitar I played a while back? Good question. Was it Duesenberg? I think there's 2. I think either Duesenberg, I guess that's his German name, and Nick Huber. Nick Huber guitars are like probably the best guitar I've ever had in my hands, but they cost a fortune, so get ready. Maybe the out of phase might work for that Brian May lead kind of thing. Yeah, possibly. The funny thing is, I don't know, it's not a sound I sort of hear in my head. Like, that's great. Sort of like... But then when we get to this one... It's got a little bit of quack in there. It's not over the top, but... You hear it more on these lower notes. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna see how we go tomorrow night with this thing. I'm gonna take it out and play it live and see if that's a sound that works. Otherwise, I'll probably just wire it up as a 3-position switch, because you know, both pickups on this particular guitar would sound great together. These pickups are great. Any plans to add a P90 loaded guitar into your arsenal? Not right now. I've had a couple of P90 guitars over the years. I love P90s. It's just so buzzy in my room here. That's why I choose the Joe Bard and Danny Gatton pickups Telecaster a lot for videos, even when I had the classic Vibe, because the buzz is crazy. It can be, some days are better than others in here too. But right now, there's nothing that I've seen that really jumps out at me. I kind of almost wish I didn't sell my old VOS Gibson, the custom shop one with P90s that I had. But stuff like that happens. So anyway, you make mistakes. I'll do a Tone King. This is what we're sponsored. I mean, this is what we're having today as a wake up. Tone King cracks me up, man. He's as bad at being predictable as I am when it comes to drinks. It's either Pepsi Max or whatever for me. He's got the Snapple. Massimo, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it sounds pretty great. I'm happy with it. I mean, look, that in between things, or the out of phase kind of vibe is actually Dave sent me a couple of emails with all the specific details. He'll watch this and cringe when I talk about it, but I don't have it in front of me. But the fact is, it sounds different to how both pickups would sound running, like say on a Telecaster or on a Gibson or something like that. So it's kind of cool. It's just a different sort of sound. I can hear things about it that I like. And then other things about it that I'm like, I don't know. Tell you what though. Feels great to play. The Snapple King, yeah, that's the one. All right, let me see if I had that thing singing. Thanks, Hoof, I appreciate that. Where's my tally? It's over there at the moment. I got it in a gig bag, I think. Actually, I'll tell you what, I got this little Crow tally thing here. We'll do a quick swapsy. Let's have a listen to this. Now, this might not be in tune. No. It's always a good thing. These mini humbuckers sound pretty wild, so get ready for this. Sorry, let me just do this, otherwise it'll be... So that's the tally pickup. You know what? Oh, I got a gate. I was going to say, that's pretty dead quiet, but... So that's the neck pickup. So as you can hear both now... Yeah, it's a different sort of sound. It doesn't have that sort of phase thing going on. You don't seem to play Strats anymore. I still play Strats. I play Strats live quite a bit actually lately. I went off them for probably 2 years where I didn't actually own one, which was probably part of the thing. But actually it was probably longer than that. About 3 years ago, I didn't own a Strat. And then about 2 years ago, I bought my white one, which I play not that often, more on videos than I'd play it live. And then I bought the SX one, which is over there. I've played that live more than any of my other guitars recently, which is kind of crazy. So, but yeah, I just go through phases with stuff, you know. Like sometimes I just want to play a Les Paul for blues, and then other times I want to play a 335 or this, or it just depends on what's motivating me at the time. I'm not really like a one guitar guy anymore. So yeah, I just go by what I like the sound of on at that particular time, or also what has the freshest strings. There's lots of stuff I like about all types of guitars. But I'll tell you what, after playing a Strat live, probably like 3 out of the last 4 weeks, they're just the best rhythm guitars. They're really, really good. Do I know any places online to order left-handed guitars like Tally? Well, I go to Jerry's Lefty Guitars all the time. You can check that out if you live in the US. he's got a lot of really good lefties. Usually, always. He doesn't do a lot of like straight up Fender stuff. If you want like regular like Fender and Gibson, Southpaw guitars is probably the place to go. If you want anything else that's a little different, like Sir and Supro and all kinds of stuff, Jerry's is the way to go. He's got a lot of unique sort of stuff there. Alright, so what's better in my opinion? This is from Philip, American Original or American Vintage Strat? These are those kind of questions that it's all dependent on what you like the sound of. I know it sounds like a cop-out, but everyone likes different stuff. I mean, the American Original series guitars, in my opinion, are probably the best guitars Fender have made in a while. I love them. I mean, there might be some custom shop ones that are nicer than those, but I've played a lot of them, and I reckon they're arguably the best. The 50s and 60s Strat in that original series are phenomenal. I would have almost no hesitation in buying one of those. Did I like anything at the guitar show? I like the Ibanez AZ series. Yeah, actually, the Ibanez booth was great. I think this is a little out of tune. I'm going to swap back. I don't want to have to keep tuning up. It's kind of cold in here too, so. I need a wireless headphone solution. Even though these are wireless, there's no Bluetooth. All right, so what did I like at the Melbourne Guitar Show? I've actually got a video coming up about that. I put a podcast up the night of the guitar show as well, so that's on iTunes. It's free to listen to or whatever. There was some interesting stuff there. Actually, what caught me by surprise was there was a lot more Australian companies there than maybe the year prior, which was kind of cool. There was a guitar company called A Perler. I think that's how you pronounce it. I never actually heard it get pronounced, but it's like a lowercase a and then a capital P. They were great. They kind of reminded me of these guitars, actually, but just maybe leaning more towards a PRS to some extent. But the cool thing about that company were they used recycled timbers, so stuff that, say, a tree had come down somewhere over the road. They'd use those kind of, they're very green in that sense. They don't just chop down trees to make guitars. They're actually using timber that wasn't, or that had fallen down, or if it had to get removed off of property for whatever reason, they used that kind of timber, which was pretty cool. And they use a lot of vinyl records, like old school records, as their scratch plates and stuff. That was probably the highlight for me. I didn't really see. I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, they actually had. There was a few brands called that weren't there the prior year too. I mean, Gibson and Epiphone were there this year, which they weren't last year. Same old stuff. It was cool to see them there, but same old stuff. D'Angelico were there as well. Oh, D'Angelica. I can't remember it's O on the end, isn't it? Yeah. So those guys I hadn't seen before in person anywhere. Those guitars. So that was cool to see that as well. Some Australian amp builders were there as well. I've got a bit of a walkthrough video coming up of the show, so stay tuned for that. It's been a little while since I looked at it, so I can't recall off the top of my head what else, or some of the brands were by name, but. Yeah, the Ibanez guitars are looking great. And I'll tell you what, Schecter make this American, Schecter, no kidding. They make this really nice Strat and Tally, made in the US. Beautiful guitars. I gotta say, like, the headstocks aren't pointy, or they're not like metal guitars. They actually just look like regular Strats and Tallys, which has been done to death, but I gotta give them credit. At least they make something now that I kind of like. Those posters are cool. Thanks. So I put this one up the other day. I got rid of the Demons one that everyone was like, why is that on the wall? So this is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Fright Night, the original one. It's a great poster. And this is how weird I am. As a kid, when I was in primary school, I actually had the movie poster of that on my wall. And I don't even recall if I'd seen the movie, but I used to love that poster. Nice bridge. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? It's got these little like rollers here as well. I've got I think the webcam's set to manual focus, but yeah, this guitar's great. It's got good sustain and all that sort of stuff. Someone asked if I was drinking. I am, but not alcohol. This is the monster. This is my wake up for today. How are the gigs by you, and how are the gigs by you, and would you help improve it? I'm not too sure what that means, man. Maybe just ask it a different way, and I'll get back to you. Got my Fractal AX8 today, or is that the Axe Effects? Very good. Hard to believe it's digital and not the real amp. Well, I got a video coming up about that sort of stuff. I think it's not scheduled. It's scheduled for a couple of weeks away, but yeah, there's plenty of great stuff. I mean, you know, I was thinking about this the other day. Like even what the Kemper's different. It kind of you use your actual gear to get it to sound the way that it does. Like in most regards, it's a little bit different, but. You know, my friend Rick's got the Line 6 Helix, and we used that on the Telecaster Tuesday series, and it sounded great. So, yeah, there's a lot of good solutions. But I tell you what, one of the best solutions, still, to record straight to a sound card is this, one of these guys. Or the Joyo, or the Tech 21, or whatever. These things are great. I've plugged this in again the other day and smiled. I went, wow, it works unreal. 35 bucks. Hey, Jamal, how are you, man? Has Dr. Rick blown up any more amps recently? No, thankfully. No, we haven't really been going into the shops. Last sort of, I guess, how long's it been now? Maybe 3 weeks, I guess. We haven't really been going into the shops to test stuff. So, yeah, we just haven't done it. So he hasn't had a chance to really blow anything up. But I tell you what, there's some guitars we're going to check out pretty soon. And this was one of the things that stood out to me actually at the guitar show. I totally forgot to mention it before when I was asked, is Maybach Guitars. Maybach. They're a German company, and they're made in the Czech Republic, I think, or something, and something like that anyway. But killer guitars. We want to go in and check those out. They look really, really good. Fright Night. Yeah. You're so cool, Brewster. Yeah, absolutely. I can't do the accent. You're so cool, Brewster. Alcohol is probably better for you than Monster. I don't agree with that, but I understand the humor. But yeah, you might be right. It's just different drug. Do you think the gigs can improve by you, and what do you think take to him? Oh, I see what you mean. So you're asking basically, what would it take locally to improve the blues scene? We need some either imports or exports from other countries here to help the scene. It's people have a low standard for quality blues, and I'm not talking about guitar playing, just singing and the band in general. I'm yet to hear. There's like a handful of really great blues drummers out there who get it. Who understand like all the different feels, all the accents in the songs. I just don't hear it at all. And it stems from like musically from the rhythm section. And then like, I don't know, just living in the US and being over there a lot, the singers wipe the floor with the singers here. It's not even close. We need a few imports or we need to export them from overseas into Australia to boost the quality of blues and to mix it up, because it's all the same stuff. People are still playing all the old songs, man. And that's cool, but there's maybe not enough interest in original music either. You know, anyone who's doing a blues gig is still playing all the same stuff. And it gets tiring, man. It really does. So I think it's a mix of, like, there's plenty of great guitar players around, so that's not a dig at any of them who play guitar. There's like buckets of them around. I'd say some of our guitar players are some of the best I've heard. But just in terms of the band sense, there's just not enough. You know, you don't really see bands with horn sections and just, you know, maybe some backing vocals. There's none of that because the work's not there for it, you know. So it's a two-way, it's sort of like this push-pull thing between venues not wanting blues, and then do you really want to put in all that effort and not get a gig and then get told to play bloody, you know, I don't know, Cold Chisel. Mike says, just picked up an SX a couple of weeks ago, really liking it, awesome stuff. Thanks, man. I actually have a video coming up with my friend Alex about, he went out and bought two of the same guitars that I've got right after he heard mine live. So yeah, they're really great guitars. I'm glad you're liking them. That's awesome. I haven't listened to the radio in 10 years. I don't get it anymore. Yeah, radio sucks. Totally sucks, man. Like, there's a couple of good stations in Melbourne here that play sort of either local music or they've got a themed show where it's completely different to commercial radio, but I can't listen to that at all. I haven't for a long time. I'll give everybody a tip. If you're into good music and you like blues, country, soul, all that kind of stuff, get the TuneIn app. It's free. And there's a really great station. Actually, I'll just type it in. It's going to be easier. It's called TuneIn Radio. And there's a really great station out of Texas called Music City Roadhouse. Awesome. You could almost play that all day. I like all those styles of music. I know a lot of people ridicule country music, but they play cool stuff, you know. They play pretty cool stuff. Massimo says, hey Shane, thanks for all your great demos, much appreciated. Have you tried the Pete Anderson guitars? Yeah, I have, actually. Oh no, I've played the Tom Anderson guitar. Is that, hang on, I'm getting confused. Tom Anderson I've played. I don't think, oh, my chat's over there. So, Pete Anderson, I don't think so, no. Yeah. Hey, Cheddar, you're a madman, what are you doing? Get your super chat enabled. We're going to get Cheddar to 1,000 subs so I can pay him back. So everybody go over there, sub to him, and you're a madman. Excuse me, sorry. VOS LP buyback fund. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever find that one again, but we'll see how we go, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. You don't have to do that. I saw our interview is doing pretty well. It's got like 11 or 1,200 views, which was pretty cool. The Sunday night jams you do are fun to watch. Thanks, Jamal. So if you go over to the Mount Dandenong Hotel Sunday Night Jam, I think it's called, just type in Mount Dandenong Jam Night into Facebook. One of the guys there live streamed some of our sets. So Rick and I, when we're there, sometimes they'll shoot some video and a couple of other, you know, just whoever's there on the night. So you'll get a mix of stuff. But yeah, it's been fun up there again lately. It's been good. It's one of the few rooms we can go to where you can just, you know, take a Blues Deluxe or a Marshall in and just crank it. It's a lot of fun. There's not many places you can really get away with that where I play anymore. So yeah, I really dig it. So thanks again, Cheddar. I appreciate that, man. That's crazy. How long, excuse me, how long do nickel frets on your primary guitars last? And have I refretted any of my guitars to stainless steel? I did. So after about, I'm going to say 4 years maybe on my Tally, my 52 reissue Tally, it already had vintage frets, so that was small. I had it refretted to stainless steel, and I've never looked back. I could recommend that to everybody. A lot of people say, oh, it sounds different. It sounds no different. It sounds brighter acoustically because the frets are clean. But yeah, plugged in, I can't notice any difference. All I notice is it plays way better than it ever did when it was new. So yeah, stainless steel frets. That's the only one of my guitars I've refretted. I did have a 50th anniversary deluxe Strat a while back. It was this two-tone sunburst thing. And that was right on the border of needing new frets, but the problem was with it, I didn't like the neck. I sort of realized how much more I liked fatter neck guitars, so I ended up just sort of flipping it and I got rid of it. No, I haven't heard of Pete Anderson guitars. I don't think so. I might have, but I know Tom Anderson guitars, which are great. Have you ever done a rig rundown on your cameras, lighting, mic setup? All right, so that's actually a video I've got planned before I go away. I want to shoot that in the next probably 2 weeks. I did one a while back, just explaining a little bit about what I used, but it's old. It was really old. So I'm gonna probably talk about cameras, mics, lighting, and just some general YouTube stuff, whether it just be the sound card I use and editing software and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where yeah, it's actually on my list. I have a list of videos I want to get done, and that's one of them. I didn't know how many people would be into it, but I'm definitely going to be doing one coming up. I'm trying to mix up a lot of the content. You've probably seen, like, I'm still doing that weekly pedal demo thing, but on the other side of those videos, you're going to see different stuff. I think pretty much starting from tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or the next day? Whenever the next video goes up, there's some different stuff coming up. So less of the like product demo stuff, and well, some of it still is, but it's not like a traditional video. I've bought a lot of stuff from eBay, and I want to test and see what you think. All right, so do I take the Kemper out? It hasn't left the house, man. I'm like, yesterday I actually went looking for a road case for it. I won't take it out unless I get a proper road case for it. But then, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm going to see if I can either get a road case that just fits the Kemper or something that can fit the two notes as well, and I can just have it all sit there when I'm at home instead of having to keep continually take it in and out and all that kind of stuff. Thanks, Jed. I appreciate that. Oh, hang on. Let me just scroll back up here. I missed something. Hi, Shane. I just bought a Blues Junior from Sky Music a few weeks back, but watched your video again, and the one you shot, I couldn't see the serial number. And sure enough, I've got the one you demoed. Oh, cool. Well, I only had it a day, and yeah, they're great little amps. I reckon the new ones are by far the best Blues Juniors they've made. The speaker's so much better. You can actually see the controls, all that kind of stuff. So. I know Cheddar likes the Albert King licks here, so. All the ones I can think of off the top of my head. I love Albert King, man. He's just the king of attitude. That's a cool lick too that a lot of guys do, but that was the Albert King thing. So you kind of bend up both strings and then you bend them both back down. Took me a while to get that, just getting under the string in a particular way and then bringing it back down. But yeah, Albert's great. All right, so yeah, Blues Juniors. That particular Blues Junior, the new ones, the version 4s are great. Actually, it's funny because the Hot Rod DeVille's awesome as well as the Deluxe. So yeah, the new series of amps might be their best ones yet, which is pretty cool. Dan from Iowa says, thoughts on the PV Classic 20, and is the 112 or 212 matching cab worth it? Excuse me. So the 212 matching cab looks great, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of heavy. So just pick it up and make sure you can move it around. I have a feeling I tried to pick one of those up and I was kind of surprised at the weight. Classic 20s are pretty good. 20 watts is usually loud enough for most places. Sometimes it's not, but yeah, if you like the Classic 30, they're a very similar sort of sounding amplifier. I think also those ones have the advantage of having like a power attenuator on the back as well, which is something that some of the older amps didn't have. Yeah, I've heard it and jammed through one at one of the music shops here in Melbourne. I thought it sounded pretty good. So yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about it, but yeah, give it a go. See, just double check the weight of the 212 cab. I can't recall the exact speakers they have in those either, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that one that was really heavy. If you want to play out live, you're probably better with the 212, only because the 20 watt amp's it's not like ball-tearingly loud like a 40 watt is, so just having that extra speaker might help. But yeah, it just depends on you know, if you're happy with lifting more weight. Is there a difference between the DW1 and the DE2 from Donna that I did reviews of? Can you let me know what they are? I can't recall the serial numbers the model numbers off the top of my head. They've got so many pedals, and I've done so many pedals. See, that was the wrong note. I tried to bend it to the right one. What picks do I use? These are still my favorite. Chicken picks, 2.6 millimeter. I never thought I'd be playing a 2.6 millimeter pick, but the edge is really thin. So they're kind of like like a 1 mil edge, which is what I used to use when I played the Jim Dunlops, which I've got a few floating around still. I used to use the nylon ones, the black ones with the little sort of, you know, scratchy bit at the end. Kind of felt like sandpaper or whatever, but yeah, these are great. I just make sure I don't lose them. This is still the original one that I got a couple of years ago from them. And yeah, I love them. I reckon they're great. You would have loved some of the blues players we used to have back in Chicago back in the day. Oh man, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got a lot of that stuff on CD. I'm sure there's lots of them I don't have as well, but a whole lot of really great guitar players that no one knows of as well, and they're everywhere. Road case for the Kemper for $150. Just thanks, Quentin. I appreciate that. I'll take a look. That's kind of like my budget. I wouldn't want to spend more than that. Yeah, I got a really sort of. Someone else asked if I'm a bit sick. I've got a bit of a husky sort of throat thing going on at the moment. I don't know if I'm getting sick or what. But yesterday I went. I had a lot on yesterday, and I was up really early. And before I started doing some work, I actually went to the gym. Got very little sleep the night before, and I'm feeling it a bit today, I think. So. Hang on, let me just move this back up. The guitar pit. That's funny. Thanks, Jason. All right. Please give Shane a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the live stream. Thanks, Sonia. Wireless system. I'm not too sure what's that that's in reference to. I might have missed the other part of that. Well, do I have an opinion on blocking tremolos? If it's a Strat, just do it. If you don't use it, just tighten the springs. Some people say you got to put a block in there and all that stuff. I don't. I don't think it makes any difference. I actually think the guitar's probably got more sustain by not doing that. My white Strat, I've got locked down. My SX is already locked down. I didn't have to really do anything to that at all. So, yeah, I kind of just like locking them down. I don't think there's any trick to it. You don't have to take it to somebody. Add an extra spring if there's 3 springs in the back, 1 in the middle and 2 on the side. Take out the middle one, put it to either side and get another spring and put it on the other side. And then just tighten up the 2 screws that go up into the body, sort of, you know, like up into here. And then that's it. What amp am I playing through? So I borrowed a Studio 22 Mesa Boogie from a good friend of mine, and I profiled it on the Kemper. It's such a great amp. This is the low gain dirty channel. I actually profiled a higher gain one as well. It was just a great plug and play little amp. I reckon it sounds awesome. I like that sound a lot. Excuse me, guys, sorry. Applause to Guitar Search Saturday. Oh, thanks, Werner, I appreciate that. There's 2 more coming up, both sitting there on my computer waiting to get edited or produced, or however you want to say it. So I've shot all the footage. I'll have 2 more. I aim to have one up next weekend, all being well. And then the next one will be a couple of weeks after that. And then for those who don't know, I'm actually going to Denmark pretty soon. Just really, it's like a whirlwind trip, just for a quick break. And I'm catching up with a friend who's a great guitar player as well. And we've got one. I plan on hopefully shooting at least one while I'm away over there as well. So it should be great. So many people on the live stream. Thanks. Yeah, we've got 80 people here. Awesome stuff. Is the only floating trem I have on the PRS? Yeah, it is. No, actually there's a couple. And the only reason I've got it enabled is because you can't kind of get rid of it. And it's not a bad thing either, but the Dan Electro 84 has the floating trem and it works really well. It's a Wilkinson bridge and it sits on these 2 points, kind of like the PRS actually. It sits above the body, like a Strat will kind of come down more flush to the body. This is like raised up a little bit. It's hard to explain, but when you see it, you'll know what I mean. Those guitars, the trem works great. So yeah, I don't feel the need. The reason I lock it down the most part is when you bend on a bad tremolo system or one that's loose, you'll see it move and your bends will go out, especially if you double stop stuff. On the PRS, I got it at a tension, which just by fluke, it doesn't actually pull the bridge up and down. So that's perfect, right? And the Dan Electros are a lot like that as well. So I can play that like I would normally, but if I want, I can put the whammy bar thing in and go for it. But yeah, I use that more for kind of like rhythm stuff, you know, play a chord. I don't usually do it a lot when I'm playing lead. It's more of a, you know, I'll play a part of a chord and then I'd use the whammy bar that way. I thought I heard a little George Thorogood tone there. It's not really George Thorogood, it's more like ZZ Top. But yeah, this amp, the Boogie Studio 22 is a great little amp. It's, I think, 20 watts or something, or 22 watts. Single 12 speaker, a clean and a drive channel. This is the clean channel. I'll bring it up. Here we go. So this is, I profiled it with this off clean tone. Have a listen to this. So it doesn't go like dead clean. Actually, it needs a bit more treble with this. Here we go. It's a very sort of Fender-ish kind of sound to some extent. Then I also profiled it with a bit of extra dirt here. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've got a full review coming up of the amp as well in the next couple of weeks. Jerry sent him a Supro with a Floyd. I think it's got a... Actually, I've got it right here. Should I get it? Is it out? It's in the cupboard. Damn. I don't think that's got a whammy bar option on there at all. I could be wrong on that one. What kind of... Oh, so Mark's asking Cheddar what kind of Les Paul he has. He says he's got a 2017 traditional. Awesome stuff. What's a good solid state amp for not a lot of money? Get a secondhand PV Bandit and you'll be done. I don't think there's much of a... I don't know, man. I've tried a few other amps over the years. If you... who's asking the question? Have fun guitar player. So you're in the US. Check it. I did a review on a Fender Deluxe Plus, it was called. Killer amplifier. If you can find one of those, get one of those as well. Really, 6 in line. And I'll get to that in a sec. Thanks, mate. Yeah, you can't go wrong with this. Just find a secondhand PV Bandit, save you money. Look, if you can get a good deal on a Blues Cube from Roland or something like that, go for it. But just straight up value for money, man. The Bandits are hard to beat. They really are. Okay, so the left-handed screwdriver foundation. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. That's cool. That reminds me of the Simpsons. Was it Ned Flanders opened up the left-handed guitar shop? Left-handed shop. Some days your ear's better than others, you know. Like some days I can hear that my G string was out of tune, just as I was playing. And other days I got no idea, and I check my tuning. I'm like, man, that is right out. I don't know what that's all about. So 6 in line. Thanks again, mate. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to create like a video series about what the super chat actually goes towards. I'm thinking about trading my Fender Princeton 112. Oh, they're good amps, man. Yeah, if you're looking for something louder, the PV Bandit would be a much louder amplifier. I mean, the Fender Princetons sound great, so it's one of those things you just got to find out what it is you like about, you know, the other amp. But don't swap a Princeton for a Bandit. Just sell the Princeton and buy 3 Bandits. Playing Little Wing on the Little Crow. Yep. AU must use 240 volts prongs like New Zealand. Yeah, we do. Do you ever play exercises per SE? Do you ever play exercise? I'm not sure what that means, man. Or do you just train by playing learning compositions? So these days I went through a stage where I learnt well, what I consider quite a few songs, but I never try to nail anything note for note. I like getting the gist of something, and that's probably like a downfall to some extent as well of my ability to like want to focus and learn a whole thing. Some of the stuff I learnt, like that little wing progression, I've modified it over the years, and like when I was just playing that other groove before, I'm not playing it like anybody else, just sort of like, you just sort of like kind of messing with the ideas and throwing in some bits. Some of the stuff I learnt was straight off YouTube as well. I still learn that. Like the other day I was watching Chris Kane, and I saw him play something I've been wanting to learn for a while, and I was like, I finally saw it in person. That helped me learn. It was this lick. Because I saw it, I connected it straight away to something I already knew, and I was like, oh, there we go, that's that lick down. So some stuff is easier than others, and it's just sometimes you see something and you hear it at the same time, you go, oh, that's what they're doing. I'm not great at copying stuff note for note. I've never been like that. Rick, on the other hand, is phenomenal at it. He's got a gift for being able to play something exactly the same, pretty much. Yeah, that's not me. I spent more time like writing my own tunes for good or better or worse or whatever. So that was what I kind of focused on. I love blues, and I made it a point to learn a lot of licks, and I also learnt a lot of sort of techniques that I still use today, you know. So, but I just don't really go playing a whole lot of songs these days. When I first started playing guitar, I learnt some Chili Pepper stuff. They were like a huge influence on me, but I never really wanted to just play their stuff. You know, it was just some parts of their songs I liked. Yeah, I always wanted to learn blues, so that's kind of where I focused. When am I posting the Supro electric demo? It's already up. So if you watch the sort of unboxing what do you get with video, there's a link in the cards. It takes you through the video. It went up about 2 weeks ago. Probably my best guitar video, actually. I reckon the way I put that video together, I was pretty happy with it. Just type in the Blues Supro. It should be the first result. How many different ways can you play guitar? So like many lefty side upside down. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I've got a right-handed guitar. I can kind of noodle upside down to some extent, but I can only really solo, and it's pretty bad. Playing chords upside down isn't easy. Have I ever tried a Helix? Yeah, absolutely. My friend Rick's got one. We did a series called Tally Tuesdays with Rick, and we used that on all of those videos, and everyone seemed to like the tone, but we didn't mention what it was. So yeah, they sound great. There are no more bandits for not a lot of money. Shane is to blame. Well, I don't know. I kind of disagree. I found one the other day for a pretty good price. I bought one of those new ones. I tell you what, there's also a shootout coming up with the red stripe one back here as well. I put the stock speaker back in that. I won't spoil what I think about that. I might have already on another live stream, I'm not too sure, but that video should be up pretty soon. I think next week. And yeah, you can still find bandits relatively cheap. Check some secondhand, like shops, secondhand dealers, all that kind of thing. Depending on where you live, you can definitely find them still definitely cheap. Or it depends where you live, I guess. But you shouldn't pay more than 200 Australian dollars for one at like a used guitar shop or something like that. Or if you're lucky enough, you can get them on eBay. Like some people you can still get like maybe 300 bucks for one of the new ones, but some of these older amps now, you can find them for $150 sometimes too. So I've been waiting on the new Bandit versus Red Stripe Bandit video, Jason. So thanks, man. That'll be coming up, definitely. JP Faraz says, hey Shane, you told about Albert King, but what do you think about Johnny Winter? Johnny Winter's awesome. Great vocalist, great guitar player. Yeah, he was something else. Um, there's one of his songs I used to listen to over and over again. Uh, I can hear the groove in my head, but I can't recall the song name. I'm terrible with names of songs and all that kind of stuff. But I used to listen. I literally had it on repeat there for a while. It was a great song. So yeah, great. Yeah, he was something else. There we go. So Hubble says, is it Hubble or Hubie? Hubie says, saw a Red Stripe at one of the guitar centers for $96. There you go. What do I think of the Jazz Chorus amps? They're great. Even the new ones are good too. I had a chance to demo one of the 210 models. Sounded awesome, man. When I played in San Francisco with a friend of mine, that was one of the amps we had on stage every night. It was great. So yeah, pretty loud too, considering they work well with pedals, all that kind of stuff as well. That doesn't look like Pepsi Max. Yeah, it's not. I needed something with a little more kick today. How does it feel to be an Australian? Cool country. Yeah, it's a cool place to live. It's got, I mean, like anywhere, it's got its pros and cons. I think we're pretty lucky in terms of globally, like where we live, for a lot of reasons. Only thing I don't really like about Australia, and some people are unaware of it as well, is how much we're micromanaged here. It's a real nanny state now, especially on the roads. There's like speed cameras and traffic cameras and hidden, speed cameras on cars on the side of the road. All that kind of stuff gets old. We pay a lot for things here too, like not just guitars, but it's $800. Is it $800 now for car registration per year? So every year you own your car, you still pay $800 to the government. It is absolutely atrocious. I don't know why more people don't complain about that, to be honest, but there's a lot of stuff here that is great. I love our oceans and there's a lot of freedoms in a lot of ways too, but there's that micromanagement and in other areas which gets really old. So yeah, I haven't been to enough places around the world to get a good comparison. The only real comparison I have is the US. So I spent a lot of time there over the years. I think all up probably 2 to 3 years over, like if I accumulated all of my 3 months trips and all that kind of stuff, it would be close to that. So that's kind of like my reference. There's pros and cons of both places, but overall I get, if I look at some of the problems in other areas of the world, we don't have a lot of those problems. We've got our own problems, but we don't have overpopulation or anything like that. It's condensed into a lot of areas, but we have less people in Australia than just the state of California. So yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, so overall it's fine. It is cool. Yeah, if you like the outdoors and all that kind of stuff, it's definitely and sports and all that. It's a great place to live. All right. Did you get fit by 40? I just turned 40 myself. So I'm 39 at the moment. My goal was to get fit by 40. You probably don't or can't tell just with just how I look with this on and stuff, but yeah, I'm close to getting to my goal. I've pretty much transformed the only part I'm struggling with is my quads. I guess it's because it's all those years of sitting down, but I've put on, I think, about 3 to 4 kilograms in the last 12 months, and that doesn't sound like it. That's about 8 pounds. So if I look back at my old videos and then look at my new ones, I'm very different physically now than I was back then, and I'm getting there. So I got another, what is it, until June next year to reach what I thought was my goal. But you know what? I'm pretty happy where I'm at now. I feel way stronger and fitter than I was. I still, of course, could lose some body fat, but it's cold and I don't really care too much. But I'm not competing or anything like that, so I'm I'm right into it. I went to the gym. I haven't really missed any days, in a year and a half. So it's been good. I enjoy it. I cut back a bit, actually. I think I was overdoing it. And since I cut back, I think once you get to a certain age, if you're overtraining, you don't really see too many results. So I cut it back and I do like 2 full-on, full-body workouts a week, and that's plenty. Gotta go, guys. Shaney Rock. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. Have a good day. Have I ever tried the brand of guitars called Vintage? The hardware pickups are definitely designed by Trev Wilkinson. He has the original PAF formula, and they are insanely great value for $300-600. Yes, they are great. I think we actually had them called Vantage. I think they rebranded them in Australia to Vantage guitars. I could be wrong about that, but one of them looked like a Relic Blackie Clapton Strat. A mate of mine's got a few of those. I didn't get a chance to play a lefty because I've never seen one, but I picked up one of those right-handed guitars. They're really good value. Absolutely. I ruined my knees. Oh, that's no good. Fat bastard. Yeah, no, I'm definitely put on a few inches on my arms. You know, I like to keep track of stuff like that. You know, as you work out, it's like progress. This is why YouTube for me is good. I can see if I actually get better or worse at guitar over the years. So I'm tracking my progress right now. I might do some sort of video about that when the time comes, because that was my goal, and I'm definitely still enjoying working out. I couldn't almost imagine my week without it now. I'd feel really bad if I didn't get a chance to do it. It helps kind of de-stress me to some extent as well. I love it. Vancouver is expensive as heck. Oh, Vancouver, yeah, it is, but it's a beautiful city. I got to say, I've been to Vancouver before, not for a long time. I think 2001 was the last time I was there, and it's a really cool city, man. I was blown away by that. All right, I'll get the Supro. Hang on one sec. It's just in the cupboard over here, so bear with me. If there's any other guitars you wanted me to grab while I'm doing this, let me know. I've just got to move a few things around to get to it. Here it is. This gig bag is awesome. All right. I said to a guy today, a good gig bag is hard to find. Yeah, so this definitely doesn't have a tremolo. Someone said it had a tremolo arm on it, but it doesn't. This is cool. All right, I'm just going to give it a tune. It's been in the cupboard for a few days now. It looks like it might be right. I think my, sorry guys, I think my stream disconnected. So if it dropped, I apologize. I just got this disconnection notice on my OBS, which is the streaming software. So apologies for that. I don't know if it happened on your side or it was just some sort of glitch here. But yeah, apologies for that. All right. Is that a Supro? Yeah, it is. So I did a video of this a couple of weeks back. It's got 3 gold foil style, well, that's what they call it. These are supposedly very authentic in terms of the way they're made to the vintage sort of spec. So yeah, 3 pickups, kind of basically wired like a Strat. You get, both these pickups or both those on as well. Tone and volume control. What's awesome about this, I know for those who have seen the video, you probably already noticed, but the back of the neck is really sort of dry. It's got this, it's sticky high gloss here and on the headstock obviously, but it's got this really great finish, sort of like a matte finish on the back of the neck, which is great. Back of the body looks like $1 million as well. Just looks really cool, and it plays great. So yeah, I tell you what, I bought some new strap locks for this as well. I'm gonna get this guitar and the Raven sorted out with the strap locks today. Is it fiberglass? No, it's not. It's just this really cool finish. It looks kind of like that, I guess, but no. Orange amps. Any opinions on the Tiny Terror? Oh yeah, they're fun little amps. If you like that sort of tone, it's all subjective stuff. So, what works, best for your kind of sound and what you hear in your head. There's a professional musician who goes to Jerry's every few months. I'm not going to say his name, but he goes there a lot. I met him last time I was there. And he bought 3 of these. He liked them that much. Like one of each type, basically. They're crazy. And this guy's played with George Benson and a whole lot of guys. Could you show us your American PRS Custom 24? I wish I had an American Custom PRS 24. The one I've got's Studio, like an SE. Oh, the stream's now in low res. Is it still bad? If it is, I apologize. There's something happened to the it disconnected for whatever reason. Let me check here, see if it's still doing HD. If it isn't, we can maybe wrap it up. And I see it in HD still. Let us know if the stream quality sucks. We can wrap it up. Australia have so many boutique amp or guitar builders locally, I imagine. Yeah, so we get most of the popular stuff is from overseas for whatever reason. We do have some pretty well-known amp builders in Australia. I guess Achilles amps now are getting out there. I saw him at the guitar show as well. There's Ulbrich amplifiers, which I've never really liked. I don't know. A couple of my friends had those, and they just don't sound very good live. They sound great on their own. They're one of those amps that sound beautiful when you're not putting it up against any other amp in the mix. In the mix, they don't always sound great. And these are from really competent guitar players as well. They record beautifully. They sound awesome. They look cool. Just not my sort of sound. What was the other? The other one I can think of is Vase amplifiers, or Vase, however you want to pronounce it. I think the guy's name's Vase or something, but they're all right. These are sort of like, I'm yet to be completely blown away by a local, like someone who's doing original sort of amps. The only one that kind of comes close is the George Evan amps. They got like their own unique sort of thing going on. They're not just copying another amp that's already out there. That isn't very innovative. So Ulbrich, George Evan amps are probably the two that I like the best in terms of, at least they're doing something different, but I don't think I'll ever buy an Ulbrich amplifier. And that's nothing against Dave. He's a great tech. He's a great guy. He makes some really cool and great pedals as well, but I'm yet to hear one of his amps and I just go, wow, that's the sound. It's not really my kind of sound. Thanks, T-Bone. Appreciate that. Have a good day. All right. All right. Thanks, Jamal. I appreciate that. Still have the Squier Classic Vibe Tally. I've got one, but it's been sounding thin lately. Okay, that's interesting. What do you mean lately? Like, did it sound different when you bought it, or you think something's wrong with the wiring possibly? Sometimes the switches can go bad. You might be getting some sort of weird issue in there as well, possibly. I'm not too sure. Where's the best secondhand guitar shop amps in Melbourne? So just go look up the Swap Shop, the Music Swap Shop. That would probably be the best all-in-one place I can think of off the top of my head. There's cash converters everywhere too, so sometimes you can just get lucky. I've been lucky in those shops a few times with finding stuff I didn't expect to find. Little pickup on this is good. Older I get, the more I'm starting to like bridge pickup. I used to be a neck only guy. What about valve tone amps? Yeah, I don't know a lot about them, to be honest. I got a great... Oh, okay, so Thanks, Doug. Hi, Shane. Andy from Adelaide. Have you heard of BWM amps? I have the VT5. I have heard of them before. I think Rick maybe mentioned it at one point. I don't know much about them, though. Supposedly they're pretty good, but yeah, I just don't know enough about them. I might have to look them up. Big White Monkey. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's one of those brands I've heard of, but don't know enough about. There's so many brands. I have trouble sometimes just recalling them, you know, off the top of my head. Do I use thumb over technique? Yeah, I do. More, yeah, like especially for stuff like I'm not going. I'm using my thumb. I use it on chords all the time. Yeah, but mostly for rhythmic ideas. So I'll either do that or I'll. I don't do it every time, but yeah, I definitely incorporate a bit of that. I guess it just depends on what's happening at that particular moment. I never used to do that. I used to play all the chords, you know, with my index finger up there. That just puts a whole lot less strain on your hand if you can reach. It's pretty good. I know what's missing on Shane's tone, reverb or delay, running a dry gain signal. Yeah, you're right actually. There's a bit of reverb on there, but I'll chuck some delay back on. There we go. Let's just crank it up. There we go. Yeah, it's a cool guitar. It's different, which is good. You know, it doesn't really sound like anything else. I don't have another guitar that sounds like this. It's got its very own sort of sound, and that's not common these days. You know, everyone's making Strat copies or bloody Les Paul copies or something. But it doesn't sound like a Strat, even on these two pickups together. There's voicings of it in there, but it's... Not sloppy as. I'm actually working on the Dorian scale at the moment too. So the one thing that fret zealot thing is, it's still working fine, which is great. I've been using it for messing with some new scales, so you might hear some different sort of playing coming up in some videos. I need to actually come up with a couple of different backing tracks for it as well, just to suit that particular style. But I'm starting to get it down. I messed with it for the first time last weekend and ended up getting away with it. So I thought, all right, it'll only get better now, which is good. Hey, Landon, how are you, man? All right, pawn shop guitars are awesome. Absolutely, if you can find them cheap, do it. I saw an SX right-handed Strat in a shop for $100 a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, there you go. There's one right there. That's a good deal. My brother is lefty, but when he first picked up my guitar as a kid, I turned it around to the correct right-handed way. Now he plays guitar right-handed, but he does everything else left-handed. Like Knopfler, you're lucky. He's lucky. Try Swart amps if you can find one over there. Yeah, they're great. I've played those before. Rick's actually owned one as well. They look like little toy amps in a way. They're really small little valve combos with... The one thing I don't like about Swart amps is just having all the valves or tubes exposed. They're great sounding little amps. They look awesome as well, but I don't like the fact that they're just exposed valves. I think that's a bad design. They need to cover that up. Stuff can get broken easily, you know. But other than that, they're great little amps. A question about what you're playing rather than what you're playing on. I can hear riffs from songs there, as well as Dorian scales you use when improv. Oh, okay, so you're asking me what do I think about, I guess, when I'm soloing. So I think the easiest way to explain it is just depending on the feel of the song, kind of dictates what I want to play. I won't play the same stuff over. Say we're playing this. You know, something like that in a minor. I'll play a lot more of this sort of stuff. So that's sort of like Aeolian stuff mixed with blues pentatonic. You won't usually just see me going. I don't usually play that sort of style over it, so it just depends on what I'm given. A lot of the times for minor, say we're playing a minor blues in B, so you can get away with like, you can play that, but over the E minor you can move stuff around. So it's a combination of stuff I know mixed with the tempo of the song and just slightly, I guess, modifying what I already know to some extent to fit the timing and the tempo and the feel. So I see a lot of guys who will play the same riff the same way over songs that it doesn't fit because they're not listening to the rhythmic quality of it. So I think the important thing is just to be aware of where the rhythm is of the song, of every song, and fit in with that. A lot of stuff I play over, like, say it's a dominant blues, like a, you know, just that, for example, anything with a seventh, right? Then I'm playing a mix of major and minor stuff. So you can play straight up. But I try not to do that a lot. Like over the one, I'll generally play like some major licks. That's a mix of major and minor, so. A lot of the stuff I play is I guess a mix of a few things that I've picked up from different players. A lot of those passing notes is, I guess, the Clapton sort of stuff, mixed with the Chris Kane, mixed with the B.B. King, mixed with the Chris Kane up there as well. So you end up picking out like the best bits of... Dominant blues is really fun because you can basically mix up minor and major stuff all over the guitar. And even to the extent where if you go to, say, the 4 chord, which is the 2nd chord, you can kind of get a... There's a lot of riffs that will work straight over that chord, whether it be here as well. So yeah, it's one of those things. I think about it probably differently over depending on what I'm given. Sometimes it's just a matter of just playing straight up blues, you know. But anything minor now? I'm looking to do something different than minor pentatonic. Anything else is refreshing. There's a lot of guys at the jam play minor pentatonic over everything. You know, dominant stuff. You could give them like a really nice progression, like, you know. Something like one of these old school blues. Oh. Yeah, and then it still doesn't sort of go, you know? You got to come up with like almost phrases that work. Less is more in those situations, like. John Mayer's blues as well, he's great at that. He's probably one of the best newer guys playing very vocal phrases over blues, but it's not like you straight up minor pentatonic. He's playing a lot of that B.B. King influenced stuff, and Chris Kane is probably the best at it. So go look him up. He's a monster. Play a White Zombie riff on the Supro. Can I go back to the high gain of the boogie tones here? I haven't played this for a while, so let's see if we can remember it. I can't remember if this how it goes or not. My well of licks dries up too quickly. So I think what it is, you got to listen to different players. I made the mistake of listening to the same couple of guys a lot, and it really was hard for me to get out of certain patterns. And I think that's important. Like a while back, I nearly stopped playing because I felt like I was just not into it. And that's when Chris Kane came along at the right time for me. Like, he was the exact sort of player I needed to hear. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, so this guy's got all the traditional stuff that I love mixed with all this other stuff that I just don't understand and still don't understand a lot of it. But there's a lot of stuff in there that I've been able to pick away at. And I kind of love what he does. He's the best of both worlds, you know, the more interesting guitar stuff mixed with the traditional guitar stuff as well, which is still good. And yeah, I think when you're running out of licks, you've just got to kind of try to get out of those habits. You know, take what you know and move it with when the chord changes, you know. A good way to get out, if you're stuck playing minor pentatonic, just straight up. Just move all those notes back 3 frets and play over. So if you're in A, incorporate F sharp over it, right? So F sharp minor is part of the major scale in A. Then just go back into what you already know. You see me do that a lot. That's that Clapton sort of thing. So even that will help. And then you'll find you can kind of... You'll find all these connecting spots that will help once you kind of get both of those positions down. The weird thing is when you move 3 frets back, you can't end on the same patterns of notes you'll normally end on. Like say the resolve is the A, right? You try ending here, it's going to sound terrible. So you're going to have to end on different notes if you're going to just stick in those positions for it to work. And just experiment around, like listen to different guys, force yourself to play over, if it's a minor, learn some Aeolian stuff, learn some Dorian, which is what I'm doing now. Just to get out of some habits that, there's notes there now that I'm aware of that I wasn't aware of just playing the Aeolian scale, and vice versa too. But try to play the stuff that you like, because it's much easier to learn. Don't just learn a scale and go, I don't know how this fits. Like, use it in a way that learn the scales that make sense to you musically. Like if you pick one of your favorite players, it will, like just watch Chris Kane and might inspire you to get out of some habits. Like I've got so many of his licks now. Like that's one of his. These are ones I've stole from him. He might have stolen from someone else, but all of these. What's his other one? So stuff that's out of the ordinary is fun, once you get it under your fingers. That's one of his trademark licks over the sort of dominant blues. We'll do that all the time. He does it way better than that, but that's the idea. Even just try playing without the pick, that'll open up different things as well. Whole different thing. Get a lot more, those spanky sort of sounds. A lot of time on rhythm guitar now, I'll tend to have the pick for certain things. And then I'll swap straight to fingers. That's a good way of getting out of certain things. If you're just bored playing with a pick, get rid of it. Waves hands across Shane's face. These are not the chords you're looking for. Target tones. There we go. Hey, Ben. Welcome, man. How you doing? All right. Just play pattern 2 in the same position. Oh, there you go. There's a whole lot of tricks to getting around electric guitar in a way that's like a light bulb moment for some people. Like for me, I'm really visual. And the problem being a left-hander is like, I'll see tabs and they're all upside down. They're just they look wrong, right? So I don't really go by those. I'm very like, take this concept and just move it here and see what happens. And that's kind of cool. Sometimes that works really well, and other times you're like, that sounds terrible. What am I thinking? And the good thing about the major and minor scale is it's the same. Just the dots are in different spots, basically. So you can kind of get away with just using major and minor, and if you can get a couple of passing notes in there, it will basically change the way you sound. Those guys that just play straight up minor stuff all night, I can't listen to it. Not because it's not good. I mean, if it's good, it's great, right? But straight up just, you know, doing all that stuff that I do all night, I have a hard time listening to straight minor playing now. I just like something with a bit of everything. And minor is a great place to start. There's so much you can do with it as well. Hey Shane, have you got any idea how to make a fuzz pedal sound good through a Blues Deluxe? I'm currently trying to talk myself out of buying a Marshall as well. For those of you who have been subscribed for a while, you'll know I'm not a huge fuzz fan. I don't use them at all when I play live. Nothing wrong with fuzz, but I don't often hear it and go, wow, I'd love to have that in a live sound for me. I can see why it would work, but it's not really my kind of sound. I did do a tutorial video on how to get the most out of fuzz pedals, and a lot of it's got to do with your volume control on your guitar. But it just depends on what you want to go for, man. Like, if you want that sort of Hendrixy kind of sound, you can probably get it. But yeah, through a Blues Deluxe, I don't know. It's all subjective, man. Like, I would say use the volume control on your guitar and crank the volume up on the pedal a bit, and just see what kind of sounds you get when you turn down, and see if it cleans up a little more, or you get a fatter sort of overtone or whatever. So yeah, just have a play around. There's no right or wrong. Just you got to, yeah, I can't really answer that question other than just experiment around. But most fuzz pedals respond really well to your volume on your guitar. So you can crank up the drive, but bring your guitar down a bit, and it might sound better than it would at full blast. So give that a go. Hey Joey, how are you, man? Lanark guitar, blues on a blues guitar always sounds better. Thought I saw Stop No Names here before. Hey mate, how are you? Please do, which overdrive pedal to use in Muddy Waters? All right, these questions are hard to understand. Let me try this again. All right, so you want a Muddy Waters sound? Is that what you're going for? I don't think Muddy Waters used pedals, man. I think he was around probably before a lot of that stuff was out. Just crank up a tweed amp and get a tally and you're laughing. If you want that kind of cranked bassman style sound, there are pedals that do that. I don't know exactly what amp he played off the top of my head either, but I'm tipping it was a tweed amp, just from the time and place and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can't really go too far wrong with his sound would have been mostly just guitar into the amp. Been diving into some Gary Moore, still got the blues, awesome stuff. Crazy Bends. You know, Gary Moore's a freak, man. I don't really play any of his stuff. No, I like Gary Moore a lot. Like, I didn't like it up until probably about 5 years ago. I always felt like it was too much. But then that's cool. Like, I really like that now, and it's funny, there's a lot of really great interviews where he's sitting down playing, showing what he can do and all that kind of stuff, and he can play every style of music, and he only ever uses those three, or he only ever used those 3 fingers, and he'd fly around the fretboard, man. Like, it was just great. So my favorite Gary Moore stuff is the stuff where he collaborated with other guys. I've said this before, like, my favorite clip is him and Albert Collins playing together. And it's great because Gary just came off this massive guitar solo, just, you know, just shredding just this strat. I think it was a strat in the clip. He's just melted faces, and then Albert Collins goes on the next song. And the whole crowd goes nuts, and Gary's just like, damn, that sounds good. So yeah, look, I love Gary Moore's great, man. He's an underrated singer too. I got his that album, Still Got the Blues. I'm not sure if that's the name of the album or not, but where he's sitting in his bedroom with the posters. I've got that album, and yeah, there's a lot of great sounds on there, man. Great lyrics, and you know, he's great at that full-blown attitude, bluesy stuff. And every week at the jams, you'll hear this. Yeah. I always like watching Gary's fingers flying around because I think Clapton only plays with mostly 3 fingers too, but he's got a really great attack. I also love that other one he did with Albert Collins, Too Tired. Yeah, something like that anyway. Too Tired's a really great riff song. Please play some Freddie King or Hubert Summerall. I don't really know much of their stuff, man. Like Freddie King, I listen to a lot, right? But I don't... The only song I can... Like, most of the stuff that I liked of his was just straight up sort of improv stuff. I don't really hear a lot of... Like, really... I guess he's... What's that one song Freddie's known for? It's like an instrumental. I never really bothered to learn that. I wasn't a huge fan of that song, to be honest. I liked his vocals more than I liked his guitar playing. You know, Ghetto Woman, he used to kill that. Have You Ever Loved a Woman? All that stuff. Tore Down, like all that sort of, you know. Hey Ben, how are you, man? So Ben bought a Supro Royal Reverb and it rocks. So in the spirit of Ben Entertainment today, we're playing Supro. I don't know if this is as cool as your amp, but that amp's a monster. Hey Showman, how are you, man? Thank God someone's on tonight. How you doing? I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for dropping in. Guitar Search Saturday tomorrow. That's from Pete, sorry. There we go. No, not tomorrow. I don't have one lined up. I've got one hopefully coming up next weekend. And then there'll be, I think, one the following fortnight, so 2 weeks after that. I've got to get them finished before I go away. What's the date today? The 11th. So I reckon we'll have one, going up on the 18th and then again on the 1st, all being well. When it comes to technique, are you a structured practice guy or just a play guy? I play live more than I probably sit down and play, but it just depends on what I want to learn. Like, you know, sometimes, like the other day I actually sat down and tried to get a scale in my head for the first time in a while, and it wasn't easy. You know, like it took me a while to get the feel, but as soon as I know where the notes are, that's when I don't just play, I don't play scales in probably the conventional way. When I was learning some of that Dorian stuff, I learned where the notes are, and then I try to put it into context straight away. I don't just sit there. Playing scales doesn't teach you how to connect stuff nicely on the guitar. So, you know, you can play stuff like that, just running scales up and down, or you can put a backing track on and play and then pick those notes. And that's kind of how I practice. Dennis says, thoughts on using the Joyo American amp sim via DI into a PA for a clean guitar sound. Sounds great. I've got a video coming up about that actually pretty soon. I picked up one of these again. This is the Moon. Same thing, just a copy of a copy of a copy. We're 3 copies in right now. So these are great. My friend Brian and I did a gig recently straight into the PA system, and he used this. Sounded awesome. So yeah, no problems there at all. And they take pedals well as well. If you're going to use a reverb, put the reverb actually after the pedal as opposed to in front of it, which would be most people's way of using it. But all other effects in front of the pedal, reverb after. Yeah, Mark, I agree, man. The best version of Tore Down is the one Eric played on the Hyde Park 96. Yeah, absolutely. So I got to mention to Cheddar, if he's still here too, I was raving about the Hyde Park concert being one of Clapton's best concerts, and there's one that's just gone up from this year or last year. That's not the one I'm talking about. So that 1996 one, that's the one you go for. I learnt so many riffs out of that song, man. That and Have You Ever Loved a Woman? A lot of that, those bends, and even the Everyday I Have the Blues on there as well. There's just all that stuff you hear, like... You know, all those sort of, I don't even know what you call them. Those kind of notes. Yeah, like that tore down. Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of really good riffs to learn. Yeah, it's a really great show. Play some plain Jane sweet sounding Delta blues. I didn't really know a little bit about the Delta stuff, but I'll give it a go. I'll turn this delay off here. Let's turn up the reverb. That's the high gain sound. Hang on, let's... There we go. Bit of reverb. Probably too much reverb. Reverb's terrible. Good Lord. Let's turn that down. There we go. Am I still loving the PV Red Stripe Bandit? Absolutely. I actually have a video coming up where I compare the Red Stripe to the new one. That's a lot of reverb. I forgot how wet the reverb gets on that. So yeah, the Red Stripe's still my favourite Bandit. Just tone-wise and what it does, I like it still the best. Delta stuff is what you like? That's cool, man. Yeah, Delta's great. I wish I sort of played more of it, you know. I picked a few bits here and there. No, what is it? Yeah, something like that. Anyway. There's a Key to the Highway 8-bar sort of feel. But yeah, I always like that sort of stuff. The day Shane disowns PV will at least make all the local papers. Hey Shane, coming to Australia in October, staying in Melbourne CBD. Do you have any guitar spots to recommend? Yeah, so just north of the city, you can walk there it's about a 25-minute walk, or you can catch a tram just north up Burke Street, and it'll take you to the Music Swap Shop. And that would be a good used guitar place to check out right in the city. There's also another one, if you're right in the city, Cranbourne Music's still there. Stay away from Allen's. I think they're going out of business for the 5th time or something. So yeah, just stay away from there. But the best two guitar shops, the only real guitar shop in the city now is Cranbourne Music, and they're on Elizabeth Street. And I think that's it in the city now. But go to the swap shop. There's so many guitar stores right near there. There's one across from it called Found Sound, which is the same sort of thing, but they've got some new stuff in there as well. They're both of those, Found Sound and the Music Swap Shop, are the two worth going. And going to, and I did videos on those. But once you get out of the city, there's guitar shops everywhere, right? But right in the city, I guess it's a hard place to maintain a business. So, I bought one amplifier from the city shop there at Cranbourne Music, and it was the worst experience. Actually, I bought two, but this was the worst experience ever. There's nowhere to park. I had to pay like a stupid amount of money just to pick up the amplifier just for parking for like 20 minutes or something. So my suggestion would be catch a tram or walk up out of the city and go to Carlton. I think it's where the music swap shop is. Or Fitzroy or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, just look it up, Music Swap Shop, and right around there will be Found Sound. They're all on the same street. There's like 3 guitar shops across the street from it as well. So yeah, there's a lot there. Cranbourne Music in Melbourne, are they lost? Yeah, they've moved their Cranbourne store to Lynbrook now, which isn't in Cranbourne either. So it's pretty confusing. I thought they might have maybe changed their name of their business, but they're well known. They've been around for years. They're a good shop. Melbourne seems to have a much stronger market for used and new musical instruments than Sydney. They are all falling over up here. That's interesting. I didn't know that. There's a lot of guitar shops in Melbourne. I would say there's at least 20 I could reel off the top of my head. And there's probably more than that. Yeah, Bumble, that's the song. I was messing with that the other day. I heard it and I went, that's a great song. I gotta learn the rest. That's all I've learned so far. Yeah, that's the one, Terry. Wow, I've been streaming for ages. I said 45 minutes, like lunchtime here now. So it's been an hour and 45 minutes. All right, if anyone has any last couple of questions, just let us know. Thanks, Shane, for the inspiring playing and your channel. I don't know about the inspiring playing, but thanks for the kind words. Happy Saturday. Thanks, man. You too. Yeah, that Robert Johnson stuff's great. So Stick Bits, is that how you pronounce that? Says, who doesn't want to play like Robert Johnson? Robert Johnson's phenomenal. I mean, like, he did stuff that was out of time with his rhythm, and it was cool, like in a good way. Like it was intentional, you know. So there was a lot of really complex stuff going on that, yeah, that's a whole art within itself, you know, playing like fingerstyle. I know the basics of it. I know just enough of it to keep the rhythm with my thumb or however I'm playing at that particular time and keeping something else going, and it's not easy. Because the trick is you want to keep that going, right? So you got to find stuff that. That's the turnaround I was looking for before. All right, I am out of here. It's time to get some food. Am I still, did I answer that before, Showman? Yeah, I still love the Red Stripe Bandit, absolutely. I think it's still my favorite, mate. And I do have a comparison video going up against the new Bandit very soon. And yeah, I won't ruin it, but check it out. All right, thanks, Jason. Thanks, guys. And yeah, Kevin says it's harder to improvise fingerstyle. I think it is too. It's much easier when you got a rhythm track behind you than trying to do something without it. So yeah, I totally agree. Sonia says, missed question. How low do I like my action, and does your guitar do I hear fret buzz when I play? I don't like it super low. I won't have it just low enough so it doesn't buzz. I like to have a bit of grab on or whatever they call it, like purchase on the strings. Even if I'm playing, if you're playing fingerstyle especially, and you sort of, none of the strings buzz. I think because I started pretty much playing with Strats, or I played Strats a lot when I first started. I didn't like the action super low, but I don't want it super high either. Just whatever feels good. And I've been lucky, like this guitar's pretty much spot on. I haven't had to do anything to it. It's just, I go by feel. If something feels too high, I'll adjust it. And vice versa. If it's too low, I'll adjust it up a little bit. And it just goes by feel. I don't think there's any right or wrong. How I set my Strat will be different to how my Les Paul feels. But not to the point where they're like completely different to each other, but just so that I don't feel like there's no... I like to be able to push the string down to hit the fret. And that's kind of like my gauge. If it's way too low already, I'll bring it up and vice versa. Hey, Ryan, how are you, man? I was thinking about you today. I thought we'll have to get you on a live stream again. Alright, guys. Do you think higher action allows for louder hammer-ons? Probably. I think it makes it easier to get that going. I'll learn Thunderstruck one of these days. I'll get there. Alright guys, have a great day, have a great night, and I'll catch you on the next stream. Thanks to everyone who used the super chat as well. It's always appreciative but not required. So to the few madmen out there that used it, thanks again. And yeah, we'll catch you soon. See ya.